Hello and welcome to Chat with Charlie. I am Charlie. I am very excited to be doing this video. I posted something on my Instagram page and it looks a little something like this. Character traits to look for in a partner, and there are 4 sort of categories, if you will. And so I wanted to do a YouTube video for people who are not following me on Instagram at Chat with Charlie, so that you guys on YouTube could have the benefit of this information. Just to let you know, I am 2 months away from 10 years of marriage, and so everything that I'm talking about in this video I know firsthand. I have a lot of friends and I've seen a lot of things, and so all of this is tried and true, and I think it will be really helpful. So I'm going to jump right into these 4 categories. The first one is maturity. Maturity is a huge deal to me. I love being around mature people. I love being around people who know how to carry themselves in a mature manner. And one of the first ways that I define maturity is if a person is not threatened or intimidated by being around people who are confident. I can tell you that people who are able to root other people on is sort of an example of what I'm talking about. People who can see someone else thriving, striving, succeeding, and not internalize someone else's success as somehow a shot to them and where they are in life. That is what I'm talking about. Someone who isn't walking around looking to take offense at things that are happening in other people's lives. That is what I would define as maturity, as not being threatened by someone else's confidence, okay? So if we're talking about someone who's not threatened that another person is physically attractive, okay? They don't have to take someone else's physical attraction as taking away from their physical attraction. Someone else's financial success is taking away from their financial success. This is the characteristic, in my opinion, of a mature person. Another characteristic of a mature person, someone who is able to respect other people's thoughts and opinions. Mature people understand that not everyone has to agree with them or even understand where they're coming from. They're fine with the fact that there are 9 billion people on this planet and that not all of them come from the same perspective or point of view as they do. And in fact, they actually enjoy talking to people, learning new perspectives, and seeing where other people are coming from. This is maturity. This is healthy. And one of the main reasons why that is key, especially if you're looking for someone to be in a relationship, if you're looking to marry someone, is because you, in fact, may change as a person. I can tell you here in my 9th year of marriage, going into my 10th year of marriage, that I am a different person today than I was 10 years ago when I got married. And so when you're looking for that long-term commitment with someone, you want to know that as you change, they're not going to be threatened by that. They're actually going to welcome it. They're going to want to hear out where you're coming from, why your perspectives are changing, what you're experiencing. And so it's really nice to know that you'll be with someone that can handle that type of change. And lastly, for the maturity category, someone who maintains boundaries and respects other people's boundaries. You will find that mature people, one of the characteristics of mature people is that they are not trying to infringe on other people's personal time, personal space, mental health. In fact, they want to be a resource to you. They don't want to disrupt your path in life. And so mature people have so much going on for themselves that they don't want to disrupt other people's journey. And so they have a lot of good personal boundaries. So a personal boundary for someone could be, I don't accept phone calls after 9 o'clock from my job. I clock out every single day at 5 o'clock. I don't go to social gatherings with toxic people, environments that I think might disrupt my mental peace. So those are some examples of boundaries. And so mature people are really good at having boundaries, maintaining their boundaries, and also respecting other people's boundaries. So these are the types of things that, again, you want to be looking for in someone. You want to see these things in operation in their life. My next category on what to look for in a partner is good communication. So first I put, this person knows how to talk calmly and clearly. So it's really hard to build in a relationship with someone who is not communicating clearly. So an example of unclear communication would be if you're in a relationship with someone, you guys go out to dinner, one partner is always on their phone at the dinner table, and the other partner responds and says, I really don't think that you're into me. It just doesn't seem like you're interested. I don't know where this is going. I really just don't know if I want to continue in this situation because I just feel like you're not into me. That is unclear. An example of clear communication would be something like this. I wanted to talk to you. I've been enjoying our dates, but I do notice something that's bothering me. When we go out to dinner, I notice that you're on your phone a lot, and it makes me feel like you're not interested in me. And so I wanted to get some clarity on that, and I wanted to know if there's a way that we could work that out, because I want to engage in conversation with you, but it is bothersome when I'm trying to talk to you about how my day is going and you're looking down on your phone. See, that's calm and it's clear, right? That is an example of good communication, right? Wouldn't you rather be in a situation where someone says that versus, I don't even know where this is going? That's not clear. Secondly, in good communication, someone that can tell you exactly what they want and what they need, right? So again, if we go back to that last example, this person is telling you exactly what they want and what they need. They're saying, listen, I really would want for you to put the phone down. Right? They're not just saying something in the sky that you can't understand about you not being focused or you not being interested. They're giving you clearly what they want, what they need. What I need is more of your time. What I need is more of your attention. And whether or not you agree with that, it still is good that you know where they're coming from and you don't have to search. I can tell you that people who are not good communicators, there's a lot of confusion in their talking. They're talking around the topic. They're talking around the issue. They're talking around how they feel. And you can never really get to a clear-cut understanding of where they're coming from, how they feel you're treating them. You can never really come to that with people who don't have good communication. So again, these are things that you want to look for, because when you're trying to build in a relationship, these are hurdles that you're going to have to get over. And lastly, in the category of good communication, people who are good communicators avoid assumptions and they ask questions for clarity. Let me say this. Conflicts, misunderstandings are going to come in a relationship, especially in a marriage. It's just inevitable when you're dealing with two human beings, right? A lot of times, in order for you to even understand where your partner is coming from, you have to ask questions. People who are good communicators ask questions so that they're not making assumptions. So again, back to the example of being at the dinner table and being on the phone. Notice what I said. I didn't make an assumption. I said, I feel like you are not paying me attention. I didn't say you're not interested in me. That's an assumption. It's clear that this person is on their phone, but what's not clear is why they're on their phone. You cannot assume someone's motives. You cannot tell someone that they're not interested in you. You can simply say, when you're on your phone, I take that as you not being interested in me, but you cannot accuse someone. And people who are good communicators are really good at doing that. They're good at telling people how they feel without accusing that person of something. So, we're going to move on to the third category that I think people should be looking for in a partner or a marriage potential, and that is self-control. Self-control is extremely important. Life is hard, okay? Marriage is hard. And when you're trying to, again, smash your goals, be a boss, be an entrepreneur, the last thing that you need is someone that is out of control. Now, I am not suggesting that everyone needs to be perfect. We are not perfect, but as long as there's some effort in the right direction. So, someone who has self-control remains calm in tense situations, okay? If there is a difficult conversation, there is really no need for you to have to raise your voice. There really is no need for you to use threatening physical gestures or even to get physical. Those would be examples of people who don't have good self-control. as adults, we should be able to communicate calmly and clearly. So we need to control ourselves in conversations and how we're treating other people. People who have good self-control have control over their resources, and their resources don't have control over them. What are our resources? Time is a resource, okay? People who know how to manage their time. Money is a resource. People who know how to utilize the money that comes in, allocate it to the places that it needs to go. That is an example. Food is also a resource. We all need the resource of food in order for us to live. So people who know how to properly use food to get what we need out of it and not abuse food. So those are things that you can be looking for in someone's life. How do they utilize their resources? Is it in a control way, or are they sort of enslaved to their resources? Because this is something that you would have to deal with in a long-term marriage type situation with this person, right? And then lastly, for self-control, the person thinks before they speak or before they act. This is huge. People who would make great spouses, partners, are people who think critically, people who know how to be slow to speak and quick to listen, right? That is called wisdom. That is called maturity. That is amazing to have someone who is not going to be impulsive, who is not going to just say the first thing that comes to their mind, who's not going to pop off in a conversation. This is huge, especially like I said, when you're going into a marriage. Conflicts are going to come, and you want someone who's going to be calculated in what they say, because they're trying to minimize offending you, really. Lastly, I want to talk about personal responsibility. This is also another big one. Number one, I said a person that does not shift the blame for their actions on others. I need people to understand that when you are dealing with someone who is a blame shifter, you are dealing with someone who is toxic. You really are not going to be able to succeed in a healthy relationship with someone who is not willing to take personal responsibility for their actions. Okay? Someone who is simply going to shift the blame for all the problems in your relationship on you. That is something that quite honestly is bigger than you, and you really may want to consider if you want to move forward in this relationship. This person has a deeper problem, and it's going to be a challenge for you to continue in this relationship. And if you do, for you to even have the prospect of having a healthy relationship. So please take that into consideration. Secondly, this person learns from their mistakes and makes changes. We are not perfect, and I'm not trying to suggest in any way, shape, or form that we operate in all these different characteristics perfectly all the time. But when we do make those mistakes, when we do make an assumption about someone, maybe when we do raise our voice in a conversation, we learn from that. Mature people, we learn from our mistakes and we keep it pushing. We don't just wallow in the mud and woe is me, this is horrible, we're never going to make it in this relationship. You have to learn how to move forward. And to be quite honest with you, that's probably one of the main factors in what makes a successful marriage and an unsuccessful marriage. Because I'm sure that those people in successful marriages can say, we have had so many stumbling blocks, we have had so many issues, but we kept it moving. And so that's a characteristic that you want to look for in someone's life. How do they respond when they make mistakes? And again, we all can do work. So I'm not suggesting that if someone is down or depressed about something that you should cut them off and no, that's not what I'm saying. But I am saying, look at how they deal with disappointment in their life. Does it take them a long time to come out of that? Or do they need a couple days and then they're right back in the fight and they're like, you know what? I made a mistake, but I'm going to learn from it. And then lastly, I just want to say on personal responsibility, a person that brings solutions to the table and not just complaints. Like I said before, listen, life can be tough sometimes. Marriage is tough. Life is tough enough as just an individual person. But when you bring two people together and then you start having children, you have a family unit, things get more and more complicated. And you don't want to be around a complainer. And I have to say, in all honesty, this is something I'm trying to work on in my life. You don't want to be around a complainer. You don't want to be around someone who's always looking at the negative in life. And so it's good to look for that now, as you're out on the dating scene. I really hope that this has been helpful to someone. My desire for my platform is to be a resource to help individuals and families function and flourish. So please consider looking me up on Instagram and following me at Chat with Charlie. Charlie is with an I, and subscribing to my YouTube channel. I have a ton more things coming in store just to help us grow and to thrive and to flourish as individuals and families. Take care. Thank you so much for watching. Bye.